Morning or good afternoon. I feel like I'm in some Russian short story from the 1800s, Dostoevsky or Gorky or something. I wasn't going to do any videos for a bit, but just saw Dr. Phil Hammond's tweets, and it's all very humane and everything. Doctors make mistakes, and it's hard for them to admit it sometimes when I get all that. I mean, I understand that, but applying it to this group of doctors that went out deliberately in a campaign to bully Nurse Lucy Letby off that unit, destroy her profession, destroy her confidence. They were projecting all the ills of that unit, all the failures of themselves and that unit onto her with no good cause. And because this is at the Easter time, did not Jesus say something like, they hated me without a reason? They hated me of the people that hated him, the Sanhedrin. They were jealous, or whatever the reason was, They hated me without a reason. And that essentially is what was done. There was malice there. It's not a series of mistakes, that people blundering into mistakes. As I reminded Dr. Phil Hammond, who's done brilliant work on this, I'm not trying to have a go at him per se, but there's this soft-balling of it. It's the idea that, these just people are mistakes, and that maybe they'll just wake up from all the mistakes they made. And he quotes that he's spoken Jayaram and said, Jayaram says, well, if other people come up with other reasons why these babies died, I'm prepared to listen. Has he been listening? Has he responded to the Shuli thing? Is he talking about it? Is he come forward and say, this is of course he hasn't. Because it's all about self-protection as it was then. And when Lucy Letby brought, this has been said so many times by so many people in so many ways, when she brought the grievance, that's when things got real for them. And that's when they had the in-group preference of them makes them a team, not of people making mistakes, but of people with a mission. And the mission was to get the police involved then, because how dare she call them on their bullying, on their viciousness? How dare she stand up for her rights? How dare she say, you've hated me without a reason. Why have you done this? I just want to work with you as a team. And they were outraged by that. Because as somebody else, I can't remember the gentleman's name, on Twitter said, when you challenge a narcissist, be prepared. When you shame them and you challenge a narcissist, be prepared to reap the whirlwind. And that's what innocent Nurse Lucy did. She reaped the whirlwind of their narcissistic rage, actually, of their rage and their desire to get back. I mean, I just said, and I said in a tweet, he's not going to respond to me, Dr. Phil Hammond. Nothing against him. He's done very good work obviously has. It's not about trying to fight other people involved in this, but it's not grasping the nettle. It's this idea of this softballing, this mistake. I said, when Jayaram, 11 days after writing that email, and he's there in a meeting with the police and Breary, is it a mistake that he forgets to tell them what he told all his 7 chums in that email about Lucy Letby calling him in? Is that a mistake? Of course it's not. It's part of it's part of the campaign ongoing. And they've all agreed to it, because none of them have said to the police, sorry, I'm aware that Jayaram's told you that she didn't call him in. And then they know it all through the years leading up to it. They know it all. And they know it all through the trial. And none of them had the guts or the moral fibre to say, hold on a minute. No, I've got an email here. I can't let this stand. I can't let my colleague Jayaram. I'm talking about the cabal of vicious, narcissistic doctors here. One of them could have said to somebody, to the defence, said, look, it's on my conscience. Even Gibbs, the one training to be a priest, is he training to be a vicar or something like that? Or a lay preacher? God knows what he's trying to do. Even him who got that email could have found it in his conscience to go and find somebody on the defence side, or just let them know and said, look, I can't let my colleagues tell you that Nurse Lucy Letby didn't call him in, because he did tell us, actually, just about 11 days or so before we met with the police and got it over the line, and so we forced you to start acting into it, or encouraged you to do it. Piqued your interest, shall we say. I wonder where that phrase comes from. Piqued your interest, police. But I've got to tell you that I've still got the email. I can find it for you here. And this is where he says that she called him in. So I just can't have it on my conscience as somebody who wants to be a man of the cloth, or even one of the other doctors, Breary. But then Breary's got his own stuff to protect. There's something quite... And because Dr. Phil Hammond's a doctor and Mercurio was a doctor, there is this residual, maybe not even residual, there's this strong sense of in-group preference, that somehow they want to think the absolute best of these people, and it's just a series of mistakes. It's not mistakes. You've got to say what it is. You've got to... They had no problem in lying about what was happening there. Should they not be called on for what they've actually done, rather than it being parlayed into a series? I just went through. I just made a mistake for all those years. Made a mistake, And this thing about not being able to admit to it, whether it's Evans or any of those doctors or the police or anyone. That's not somebody continuing in the line of error, in the line of making a continuing mistake, that they're kind of, you can't blame them, just making a mistake. To err is human, to forgive is divine. It's not a mistake. That's with absolute knowledge that they're part of something absolutely evil in the destruction of someone, and lying to all those parents about what's happened to their children. And they know it with full consciousness. They have to know it. They have to know it. Now, they could put on a show of saying, well, no, I still believe it. I still believe it. It's because they have to believe it, because they have to pretend to believe it. This is about surfaces. This is about what they project to the world. Why? To protect themselves, and only themselves. That's the narcissism, and that's the fact that they don't give a damn about destroying another life. And that includes, actually, and I'm going to go there, that includes the deaths of those babies themselves. That's not on their conscience. It was on Nurse Lucy Letby's conscience, because she was being blamed for it to the extent that she was taking that blame on herself, even though she had no blame rightfully to take. And that's the difference between her and them. That's the difference between her and Evans. When Evans separated in Bonnie and Linda Lewis case, has he got a conscience? Did he make a mistake by taking that young girl away from her family and her mother, by saying that the mother had Munchausen's by proxy, and then it was proved that the daughter was actually ill with a serious stomach condition, and she was only trying to get her daughter help? Did Evans ever say to himself, Jesus Christ, what have I done here? No, he went from strength to strength. He went from strength to strength, saying, no, I've won 40 out of 41 cases, and the one I didn't win, I should have won that one as well. These aren't people making mistakes. These are people with personality fucking disorders. Sorry, I'm tired. Are we not tired of this? You have to grasp the nettle. It's not about, we're going to turn into a mob against these people. It's not about that. But in order to rectify this, you have to say what happened. And what happened is a group of narcissistically wounded doctors, when they were forced to apologize for what they did wrong, Not mistakes they made, but what they did wrong and their bad behaviour. When they were forced to apologise, then they got really, really mad. They didn't go into mistake territory. Then they got really, really, really mad. And it doesn't matter how they covered it, in what way they covered it. They wanted blood. Metaphorically, they wanted someone to pay. After they'd finished with that meeting, when Tony Chambers said, you cross this line, you don't cross this line, this is over. And you apologise. And you apologise, and that stuck in their craw to the extent they would not have it, and they did not have it. These aren't people making mistakes. It's a complete misreading of how certain human beings of certain personality types act, especially in groups, but also with certain individuals spearheading them. Anyway, sorry, there's a bit of an angry. Well, it's anger. It's not. I don't. Yeah, it is anger. Actually, it is, because it's kind of a. But it's not to dominate. I'm not trying to. It's not wishing to dominate. It's just, look, for fuck's sake, let's call a spade here. Let's look at reality here, because that's what Shuli's doing in that conference, isn't it? Where he goes, and it becomes like a mantra, and it becomes like a motif, and it is a motif. When he says, well, now let's look at the evidence and see what really happened. Then move on to the next case. Now let's look at the evidence and see what really happened. It's called the truth, right? And it's not about... And those doctors, Breary knew his part in the death of Baby O. He knew it. I've forgotten his name now, the doctor at the earlier conference in December. Breary knew it. That doctor said, if I had been that doctor, I wouldn't have been able to sleep, knowing what I've done in respect of Baby O. Is that a mistake? Is that a mistake that they just don't understand that they're making? But no, it's with knowledge. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, I'll leave it there. It's just, it's got to be put right. Got to be put right, and some of those individuals should go to prison, and all of them should lose any possibility of working in medicine again. I don't know, Gibbs is retired anyway. It's what's that word I'm thinking of? What's it called? Justice. Actual justice. Yeah. Let's have some of that for a change here, shall we? Have a great day, and take care.